finally ready to hit the field again?
Yes. Yeah. Great time of year. I think as a college coach, you always want to enjoy your summer because that's really your time. Spend some time with your family, that kind of thing. We've had a great summer as a family. I think our players have had a great summer. So I'm looking forward to getting this started, though. Really anxious to see how these guys come together.
Having a first game like Fayetteville State now for the last 2 years, obviously, Fayetteville State was able to recover last year and put together a string of wins to obviously get them into the playoffs. Again, having one of your big games right up there at the front, how difficult is that if you guys were to kind of take a hard loss like that for you guys to recover?
No, and a lot of credit to Coach and his staff. To really be able to bounce back because they lost 2 heartbreakers right in a row. They really did, and tremendous credit to him and his staff to be able to do that and get that done. I think that's one. That's a tough question because you don't know until you get going here. And again, I mean, we don't know. We don't know how the 2010 season or the 2010 team is going to do. You hope with a lot of guys coming back, you feel good about that. But at the same time, whole new mix, whole new group. They've got to, they've got to put this whole thing together and make the most of it. And so, got an idea. Like last year, I said I don't know how we're going to be able to go through the first 4 games of the season. And let's see. And I think we were very fortunate. We won 3 of the 4. And so, how's this team going to do? I'd like to think we got an idea, but they've got to be, they've got to be tested. They've got to be, ready for this opportunity, and that's what we're focusing on the next, the next 3-4 weeks.
Last year at this time, Travis really wasn't a household name yet, and then he explodes at Fayetteville State. A couple hundred yards, a couple touchdowns. 1,200 yards later, he's the go-to guy, and Ray Sean's more than capable of getting 1,000 yards as well. Talk about that, having 2 great backs right there. And
well, really,
Keith Gore.
Keith Gore does not have the stats that those other 2 guys do, but he might be just as important. And then Adrian Williams, played some of our fullback and some other stuff. So we really feel we have 4 very, very good running backs, and we'll use all of them somehow, some way. Travis, I think. You got a glimpse of him in Fayetteville State, and then we said, okay, he carried the ball 25 times. Rayshawn carried the ball 25 times. We probably don't want to do that every game if we don't have to.
It just worked that Saturday.
It just worked out that, and then when we needed him, we did it. And so, I'm really excited. Our running backs are probably in the best shape that they've ever been in as a group. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. Again, they got to find a way to gel. They got to find a way to, get back in that groove like they did a year ago. But Travis is a little heavier, Rayshawn's a little heavier, Keith's a little heavier and faster. So I'm excited where they're at.
And talk a little bit about Corey Smith having a senior quarterback who's been here since last 4 years, 19-4 as a starter. You talked last year about him being a game manager and he didn't make many mistakes. That's obviously vital too.
Well, it's huge. I think if you look at Corey Smith statistically, he really takes care of the ball very well. And he completes a high percentage of his passes, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And I expect him to get better at that. I really do. And this is the best shape he's ever been in. This is probably as strong as he feels he's ever been, like he said. So I'm really pleased with him taking on this opportunity that he's been given and trying to make the most of this opportunity. He understands our offense and knows our offense as well as anyone that we have, I'm excited. This has been a fun 4-year process with him.
Are there any games on the slate this year that you're kind of looking forward to? Maybe Carson Newman at home.
Well, I'm looking forward to Fayetteville State first because I think that's an amazing opportunity and a great challenge for us. And then really as you go through, I'll say the same thing. I think Weber is our 6th game. If you look at our first 5 games, those are 5 pretty good football teams. And St. Paul's, even though we beat them a year ago, I think they still went on to go 4-5 or 5-4 or something like that. So they find ways to win football games, and we're going up to their place. But Fayetteville, St. Paul's, Wingate, Carson Newman, Glenville State. Glenville State has a lot of returners. They'll be ranked. They'll be picked to finish high in their conference. They'll probably come in with 4 wins or 5 wins at that time. Carson Newman will be as high as 6, 7, depending on what poll. Coach's poll, they may be as high as 3, 4. You never know. Wingate, we have not won at Wingate. So that is a big challenge for us. And so, and really, they win 3. They win 3 quarters last year, Wingate, and we win the 4th, and that's the one that matters. But that was a heck of a football game.
Right.
So, which one am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Fayetteville State, because then that gives us a measuring stick as to where we're at.
Is UNCP any closer to joining a conference, or are you fine with being an independent?
Well, I think Dr. Carter would be the one to ask that. Dan Kenny would be the one to ask that. I know that we have pursued a couple of options, and I think as long as we're able to put together 10, 11 really good football games,
right.
I think in 2011 we've got a few more contracts with a couple of SAC teams. So I think we're moving in the right direction. But as long as we can do that, and when we started, I think, Todd, our first year we played a couple NAIAs, a couple Division III, that kind of thing. You're talking about 9 Division II teams, 1 NAIA, because Weber's looking for games. They may be on our schedule for a while,
right.
But you're looking at 9 Division II teams. You're looking at Fayetteville State, who's had great success. Again, the only other North Carolina team to make it to the playoffs. You're looking at Carson Newman. You're looking at Wingate. You're looking at Glenville State now. Concord will. They came into our game 6-1 or something like that, 6-2. They're probably going to be ranked. So I feel like our schedule has gotten better, and fortunately we've been able to get better with it.
Right.
I've looked at a lot of people's schedules. I don't know of many people playing the caliber of teams that we play in the first 5 games. Now, I'm not saying we got the toughest schedule in Division II,
right.
But when they did playoff rankings last year, our strength of schedule really helped us. Because of Carson Newman, because of Wingate, because of Fayetteville State, because of Concord. Those guys all had good wins and enough wins to help us. And now you throw in a Glenville State in there, and we think a couple of these other guys are going to be pretty good too. Playing Winston-Salem, they've been 1AA, so that's going to be an interesting where they're at.
Right.
And talk about